Welcome to Inside Grand Prix and to the upcoming race in Abu Dhabi. Later, the world champion comes home. Plus, will they soon be speaking Arabic at Toro Rosso? But first, more on the circuit with the world champion team.
Abu Dhabi for me is hot, new and clean.
I think the complex and everything they've built here out of the desert's incredible. Great circuit, great hotels, this great marina, the whole atmosphere.
Abu Dhabi, 5.5 kilometres, 55 laps, counterclockwise, all in all 305 kilometres. 5 high-speed stretches, 5 slow turns, 3 ideal spots for overtaking.
Full of emotions at that stage, obviously. Yeah, I remember I looked up and I was just praying, please let this happen. You know, no one pinch me now and it's a dream, because obviously you dream about this kind of scenarios, and it was a dream coming true. Unbelievable.
The Formula 1 world title is the ultimate goal in motorsport, and I think this moment is the beginning of the realization of actually what he's achieved.
Okay, here we are starting a lap at Abu Dhabi in the Red Bull simulator. Down to turn 1. Quite a tricky start to the lap. Left-hander, a little bit quicker than you expect, and then into a fantastic part of the track for me. Uphill, very, very fast. Left-right sequence of corners, very challenging for the driver.
Sixth gear almost flat out, shift down, then it gets tighter. Brake hard, second gear, left-right chicane.
Links, rechts, chicane.
Very important part of the track as well, because you have a very slow corner coming onto a long, long back straight.
At about 100 metres hard on the brakes, down into second gear and into the left-hander. Slightly downhill over a crest, which really gives you a shake. Second gear, third gear, then accelerate out again, taking lots of momentum with you.
Braking again very, very hard for this second gear left-hander. Another overtaking opportunity through a very slow chicane. And then we start a sequence of very slow corners.
As you take the corner, you brake and shift down into second before going into the next left-hander and through onto the hotel, which is still a unique feature. Into the next left turn, second, then third gear and onto the gas.
Finishing the lap, very, very important 2 corners. Quite a quick right-hander. Then we have the pit lane entry on the right-hand side. And then finishing the lap at Abu Dhabi.
And so to the latest standings. The top 3 in the drivers' table match the result of the Indian Grand Prix. Jenson Button's not letting slip his chance of finishing second. In the constructors' table, second place is sure to be won by McLaren Mercedes. And now we're sending you into the desert, off to Abu Dhabi. The Red Goddess from Maranello, one of the oldest ladies in the business, and her youthful partner with an old Arabian soul. Abu Dhabi, young and old, hand in hand. This marriage built on sand copes with setbacks remarkably well. Take the 2011 finale.
Great feelings. More, I think, in 2010, better memories I have. Sure, Abu Dhabi, after Abu Dhabi, there is a sad feeling, disappointment for all of us, but looking at the championship in general, at the 2010 year overall has been a great season for me. Finishing second in a world championship is never easy.
Abu Dhabi 2010, for Ferrari a disappointing end to the year, certainly cause enough for the odd grimace or two. The Emirate has picked up speed, which is clearly doing no harm to the entire region. the somewhat heavy-legged venerable lady from Maranello is currently benefiting from the omnipotent Arab Sheikhdom.
Theme park idea means to give the possibility to different generations to enjoy with something unique in the world that is a mix between passion, technology, speed, emotion, and these are the ingredients of this unique project.
Abu Dhabi gives a hand to ladies in black as well as the Italian goddess in red. And yet it's actually quite German, clean and punctual. 2 Grand Prix and twice the winner was Sebastian Vettel. The whole world likes this small but perfectly formed emirate.
Well, I'm a pretty big Formula 1 fan. It's really the only sport that I follow. Like, I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning at home to watch the races live. And I didn't go to a race in a long time, so for me it was a really cool opportunity to be able to go to Abu Dhabi and watch it live.
Last year, the stage for a heart-stopping finale, the Yas Marina, stylishly confident and spectacular, exhibiting the architecture of the future, a country with no limits.
Abu Dhabi is of course a global player. Where there's money, there's also Formula 1. And I really must say that the organizers and the government there in the Emirates have done a very good job. Abu Dhabi has built probably one of the greatest Formula 1 complexes in the whole world. So it's very understandable that a Grand Prix is held there and everyone enjoyed it too. Abu Dhabi thrills everyone. However, for Ferrari, of all teams, this Italian-Arab liaison has not brought any happiness yet. And now, what does a racing team's CEO actually do? Everyone knows them. The fans cheer them on. They're the heroes of the Formula 1 teams. We're talking, of course, of the drivers. However, behind their success, there's a huge team away from the glitz and glamour. Reason enough for us to take a look for a change at the team's unsung stars.
The role of the Chief Executive Officer in the team is really to do all the things that nobody else wants to do. So generally, if people have got a problem and they don't know exactly where to turn to it, they tend to end up in my office asking my advice. So I'm directly responsible for the production of the cars and for a lot of the support functions, such as procurement and human resources. I suppose the key non-glamorous thing is the production of the cars. It's really the back room that very few people tuning in to watch a race see. They see the mechanics and the glamorous side of the sport at the track, but they don't see the several hundred people who work here full-time to design and to produce the cars that go out to the circuit. We can't develop the cars without the right development facilities, without the right people in place, without the right processes and structures.
The processes naturally also include getting these developments to the circuit on time. With 19 races in 18 countries around the globe, that's not always easy.
When you're moving in and out of Europe or out to Japan or then into Brazil, each country has its own set of challenges or logistics problems that we have to face, whether it's customs or whether it's just telecommunications, for example.
The wholly normal madness in a CEO's wholly normal everyday routine. Although,
really there's no typical working day in my role. Things tend to get escalated to me when they're about to cause a big problem. So if we have a new development that we want to get to the track, then I'll tend to get involved to help push that through as quickly as possible.
things could get critical when one of the little cogs in the Formula 1 machine goes wrong. Time and precision, the key fundamentals in Formula 1.
I think the reason my hair is white is because quite often when you're talking about moving so many people and so much equipment, so many things can go wrong, and so many things can happen that are outside your ability to control them. I think within the scheme of what we can envisage and how we plan, I think we do a pretty good job, and it's very rare that a surprise will happen. However, a plane can go technical, you can lose a whole day in setting up one aspect of the garage, or you could lose a whole day in building the cars, which is then a very, very tough challenge. That's when it gets exciting. That's when you know whether you're a good team or not, because you're able to adapt, overcome, and still do a great job.
It gets especially exciting whenever new parts are getting fitted to the car. These updates are often finished and delivered to the track at the last minute. The timing's got to be right.
One of the key things that we can do on the production side of the team is to make sure that any gain that we do find from the aerodynamic development gets to the track for the next race. Because the sooner we get it on the car, the sooner it makes the car go faster.
And even though things are currently not going so well for the team from Grove, England, they're hoping to be on the attack again next year. Until then, looking back provides consolation.
So Williams was founded in 1977, which makes it one of the oldest existing Formula 1 teams. It has an amazing history of winning 16 World Championships to date and many more to come in the future. And it's always had a reputation for being the Formula 1 team that puts engineering above all else. So with my background in precision engineering, that's what makes me so passionate about the role here and about the history that grounds everyone at Williams. So come with me and I'll show you some of that history.
The in-house museum at Williams' head office is a feast for the eyes of all Formula 1 historians. And thanks to the championship winning cars of the past, currently an inspiration for the whole team, including the CEO.
So you've seen some of the history of the team, where I work, and as a highly competitive individual and a team player, you can see that being the CEO here is actually the best job in the world.
And now, 2010 Abu Dhabi, Toro Rosso, not happy memories for all. Abu Dhabi, the final race of 2010. Toro Rosso cause a stir, or rather Jaime Alguersuari does, not letting Webber overtake for 3 laps. And, whether intentionally or not, secures Vettel's lead and thus the title.
Could have cost Sebastian the championship for sure, because if that means I didn't jump Fernando and Petrov and Rosberg and these guys were not there, then Alonso would have finished 4th. So yeah, I did find that ridiculous, to be honest, but that's what happened.
Toro Rosso, or Red Bull in Italian. Italian because Red Bull's little brother is based in Faenza, Italy. Beside Ferrari, incidentally, the only race team from Bella Italia. However, Ferrari have no need to fear their neighbour, at least not yet.
I think there are still some improvements to do. Nevertheless, I'm quite happy with the performance of the car, but hopefully we are right on the pace to get the best out from us.
The team has been racing in Formula 1 for 5 years. Its original task to train Red Bull's next generation of drivers. Like, for instance, world champion Sebastian Vettel, who in 2008 got Toro Rosso's first and to date only Grand Prix win. Nevertheless, the Toros are increasingly coming out of the champion team's shadow. Since 2010, they've been building their own chassis, no longer getting it from Red Bull.
We have to build our own car because of the newly reached Concord agreement. We have had to increase our engineering capacity, and from about 150 persons we got to be around 200, most of them being engineers rather than workers or mechanics.
The latest rumour concerning the team, a possible move to Abu Dhabi. Buemi has in the past in Bahrain already once switched Ramazzotti for Ramadan. Could that have been a dry run for negotiations with sponsors from Abu Dhabi?
Because of that.
For now, Toro Rosso are saying there's nothing to it. The Toros therefore continue to fight. Currently 8th in the constructors' table, they want one day to be up there with the top teams.
Yeah, I think we have to be confident, because I think the team is doing a very good job bringing in some good updates. If you look, now we are a proper team, we make our own parts, we make our own car. I'm quite convinced that we can have a bright future.
Why not? A duel between Red Bull and Red Bull in Italian would certainly be interesting. Maybe next year. Though who'll then be sitting behind the wheel at Toro Rosso won't be finally decided until this season's almost done. Time for a short break. Then the world champion hits the gas. Plus, we turn back the clocks. Formula 1 historic style. Don't go away.
Hi, I'm Nico Rosberg, Formula 1 driver for Mercedes GP Petronas. Driving a Formula 1 race is physically very, very tough. My neck, shoulder, arms and legs can be pushing up to 40,000 kilograms per race. During the corners and even under braking, 5G can be acting on my body, which is 5 times my body weight. Also, during a hot race, dehydration is quite a problem. I can lose up to 3 kilograms of fluid. So it's very, very important for us to drink a lot of water, especially before the race, but also during the race. But finally, it mustn't be underestimated that relaxation is also a really, really important part of training. My one piece of advice: if you're tired, take a break.
Welcome back to Inside Grand Prix. Coming up, the latest news from the Formula 1 scene. But first, radio, data and sensors. Telemetry in Formula 1. Race Sunday. The Formula 1 drivers line up on the grid. From now on, everything's in their hands. You might think. In reality, up to 15 experts follow every hand movement, every maneuver, every detail on the car. Deep inside the pit garage, the system engineers sit and monitor man and machine.
The telemetry systems on a Formula 1 car are an extremely important part of technology, although they've become much more constrained over the last few years, because 10 years ago we were getting all the information from the car coming back to us in the pits. Looking at the chassis, the engine, even how the driver was driving the car. And then we were making changes on the car. We were sending messages to the car to adjust it to get the best from the performance. Now that really wasn't emphasizing the skills of the drivers. So we've changed the telemetry systems now, and all the team can do is observe what's happening and sometimes advise the driver what's happening so he can make some changes himself, but they have to be implemented by the driver.
In a typical race, I might shift about 3,100 times. So you can imagine that all I'm doing all the time is like shifting. And at the same time, I need to change brake balance, switch on the curves, the rear wing, the differential. So there's a lot going on in the cockpit.
On every Formula 1 car, there's a main transmitter. This transmits all of the data via a specified frequency over to the pit. There, the engineers sit and analyze the data. Parameters such as tire pressure, fuel consumption and speed all get monitored.
There's hundreds of channels that we look at, and we have a whole fleet of engineers at the back of the garage studying their screens to make sure everything is performing properly, and that's done for both reliability and performance. So if we're seeing out on the track the driver's not making the best use of the engine, or he's not doing certain things the correct way, we get on the radio and advise him that he needs to make some changes. So a vital part of Formula 1 for us, and a vital part of our armory.
30 gigabytes, around 10,000 MP3 songs. That's how much data the Formula 1 teams collect over one race weekend. Technology at the limit. Does anything old-fashioned have a place at all in Formula 1? Certainly. There's one aid that's light and efficient and has been around for 50 years already. The pit board. And now we visit the world champion on his home patch. From 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 2 seconds, en route to the town center, even with the outriders in tow. Heppenheim once again goes crazy.
Und da ist er! Heppenheim, ich will was hören!
The #1 is home. The boy from next door, long since a world star, but with no airs or graces. 500 metres as the crow flies from his parental home. He'd hug them all if he could. What an atmosphere! Nearly 30,000 fans, and the two-time world champion savours it all. Being at home is simply the best. We go all over the world and now have a lot of fans, but I don't think I've ever seen so many Red Bull caps in one place. And for that to be here at home too, it can't get any better. Having put on a great Formula 1 show this season, at home Vettel's keen to meet his fans, changing tyres against Lisa, and slot car racing against Lewis, signing autographs by the 100 often means happily putting in overtime, and that too is how this day ends. Long live the world champion! Thank you so much. I really don't know what to say. The reception I got here in Heppenheim last year was already something very special, and this year I think you've even surpassed that. You've really made it an incredible day, and for that, thank you very much. Very, very much. Thank you. And now, Formula 1 as it once was. When present-day Formula 1 goes racing in Abu Dhabi, historic Formula 1 will already have finished its season for this year. The fast old racing cars run their races in Europe, generally on legendary circuits like Monza, Spa and Hockenheim. The successors to Lauda, Scheckter and Rosberg Senior go here by the names of Verden-Rowe, Wunsch and Ayer.
My name is Bobby Verden-Rowe. I'm from England and I drive McLaren MP41B.
My name is Peter Wunsch. My team is Hall & Hall from England. I've been there 8 years and we drive Formula 1.
My name is Richard Ayer and I come from England in a small town called Rochford. I've been racing for probably 35 years now.
All the drivers in historic Formula 1 drive classic cars. Not just any model, but dream cars that have made motor racing history. And naturally, the circuits chosen are also of Formula 1 standard. We generally race on current Formula 1 circuits, or on circuits that were previously used for Formula 1, such as Brands Hatch, for example. Everything is well organized, it's really excellent. Dedication and ambition are the name of the game, plus a professional attitude and a will to get personally hands-on.
We don't carry a lot of spares. We've got 3 sets of wheels, spare nose and a few spare engine parts, but we have a problem, we have to make it.
Ideally, it's a championship-winning car.
One of the 2 cars that Keke Rosberg won the 1982 World Championship. Oh, they're really nice people, very nice. Yeah, he remembers the car, and I had the wrong colour steering wheel. He said he would look at home to see if he could find the green steering wheel. So, he's a very nice man.
It's just a shame that this precious gem will not be going out again. There was some hair racing, historic Formula 1 racing this year, and sometimes the odd bump too. At Spa-Francorchamps, I went into the crash barrier. The monocoque got damaged, and that's a very labour-intensive job. It's still an aluminium monocoque, and it needs to be properly repaired. We'll be working on that for some 3 or 4 months. However, there's no holding back. He who breaks, loses. The historic Formula 1 races are a great attraction, including for the present-day race teams.
They're just pleased to see their old cars race. Instead of being driven slowly, historic Formula 1 is not a slow formula, so they appreciate that we try hard in the cars, and they're pleased to see them all out. When we do a support race, the whole paddock comes out and watches, and then they go back to work.
The season's over, the last race is run. Now all eyes are on the best of the best.
whatever cars they're driving, they're the best drivers in the world, and they're still working very hard, even though certain aspects of their driving is made easier by all the electronics and whatever. No, they still have to earn their living, believe me. It's still hard work.
And if needs be, long into the night. Just ahead of the race on Sunday, now our latest news. It was the third time at the weekend that Vettel had done the Formula 1 treble, pole, victory and fastest lap. For him, a very successful first Indian Grand Prix. Now, in Abu Dhabi, he wants to match the pole position record held by Nigel Mansell. Just one more will mean he's been at the front of the grid 14 times this season, as Mansell was in 1992. Mika Häkkinen is coming back. The 2 times Formula 1 world champion simply can't keep away. November 12th is the big day.
I haven't raced for 3 years. So, coming back for racing, it is, I have very exciting emotion inside.
He's off with a Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG GT3 to Zhuhai in China, the venue for this season's finale of the Intercontinental Le Mans Cup, a 6-hour race. Mika's biggest and most famous fan, what else could you expect, also has Finnish roots.
Mein Vater hat ihn früher gemanagt.
My father used to manage him when I was growing up at the end of the 90s, and I always really cheered him on. And his battles against Schumacher, they were always very, very exciting.
Schumacher und so, das war immer sehr, sehr spannend.
Nico Rosberg and Mika Häkkinen, 2 racing drivers, one thing in common. Next weekend, both will be on the track. Nico Rosberg in Abu Dhabi, Mika Häkkinen in Zhuhai. You know, I've never been to New York, Bernie Eccleston must have thought. From 2013, Formula 1 is therefore now set to go racing in the Big Apple. Alongside Austin from 2012, that would thus be the second venue in the USA. The circuit's course seems to be already decided, along the Hudson River with the New York skyline in the background. The circuit itself is to be like Spa, with an atmosphere more akin to Monaco. Now to the hardest braking point on the Yas Marina circuit. According to the Brembo engineers, it's in front of the west stand that the speedo drops the most, by 250 kilometers per hour. In the process, 2,160 kilowatts of power get dispensed. 5.14 G is exerted on the driver as he presses on the left pedal with 132 kilograms of downward force. That was Inside Grand Prix for today. We'll see you again for the season's finale in Brazil. But for now, enjoy the race in Abu Dhabi.